What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Friday. Yesterday was wild because we had another fantastic slate of Thursday games. Again, Thursdays and Sundays are women's college basketball days because we get some really good games and we get a bunch of them from various conferences. So we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about what happened to Agat Makir, why Tanaya Latson didn't play in the second half of last night's game. We're gonna talk about how USC got Iowa and a whole lot more because Quit in the Morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Doom, 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 doom. All right, guys, let's first actually talk about the South Carolina of it all. So yesterday, and also if there's a game that I don't specifically cover in detail, you will be able to see the score of it in the ticker below. I made it slow, so hopefully it's slow enough for it not to be distracting. But if it is, let me know. All right, first up, we're going to talk about South Carolina, who took down Auburn yesterday. Now, the big story about this game was not the fact that they took down Auburn. That actually wasn't the thing. The thing that really was the big kicker was something that actually happened in the first 2 minutes of the game. We ended up seeing, once again, a four-guard, one-post lineup for South Carolina, which I really like. I really like this lineup. Number one, anybody else have any thoughts about the four and Joyce in the starting lineup for South Carolina? I like it. I think it allows, like, it's more like ready to go in a way. And yeah, so it could be also just like like maybe against certain matchups it works well. But anyway, I just like it personally. Anyway, in the first 2 minutes of the game, we saw Agat Makir, who had the starting nod. This is the second time she started. She started in the Vandy game for sure, and then she started in yesterday's game. She got the start in the first 2 minutes of the game. She goes up for like a shot in the lane, a shot in the lane. And when she comes down, you could tell there was something wrong. And then she started to limp. She got fouled on the shot. So she, put her hands on her hip, got it to the free throw line. Cause it seemed like when she did that, I was like, oh, yes, there's something going on. Like, she's not 100% there. She's not 100% like healthy with whatever happened to her leg. And then she proceeded to play, four defensive possessions? And it was very clear. She was hobbling around. And I was actually surprised that Auburn didn't try to exploit that. There was one time where her man ended up getting all the way to the basket, but she jagged the layup, so it didn't actually matter. They couldn't take advantage of it. But she was just hobbling around. And I was just like, Don, get somebody off the bench. like you got because it seemed immediately to me that, okay, there's something going on with her. She needs to be taken out the game because, again, there's something going on. And then it took a little while, but we did end up seeing Maddie sub in, but it took forever. It felt like it took forever. Like watching it and like seeing her hobble around, I was just like, oh my goodness, stop walking, stop. But I will say, for a Gotti is what they call her. Even though she was hobbling around, she was still trying her best to hustle. She got a rebound. She was trying to not be a burden on her team. And I was like, you know what? You got to respect that. You got to respect that 100%. A player who is clearly not well at the moment. There's clearly something going on with her lower body because she's limping. And because there hasn't been a timeout or anything or any stoppage of play, she has to stay in the game. And because she's staying in the game for the time being, she's going to give it all she got. And I was like, you know what? That's really awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, she struggled walking and running around on the court, but she was trying her best. And then eventually, a couple minutes after she got injured, we did see Maddie come in for her, and Agat was out for the rest of the game. In the post game presser, Dawn Staley was asked about an update for Agat, and she said she's in pain. And when they get back to South Carolina, she'll be evaluated, and they'll sort of see from there. So we don't have any real update about Agat other than she's out. She was out for the rest of the game, that she's in pain, but the specific type of pain, don't know. But the fact that she was able to hobble around the court for a couple of minutes, I'm hopeful that it's not that bad of an injury. Because my assumption is if it was like the worst of the worst injury, she wouldn't have been able to do that. So fingers crossed that like it's not that bad of a thing. But another thing that happened yesterday was that Tanaya Latson didn't end up playing in the second half. Turns out that she is not feeling well, at least according to Dawn in the post-game presser. I mean, this is a time where everyone gets sick, or like, you know, just like little things start to add up. And so, you know, I'm not sure if the not feeling well is a sickness, like for real, or if it's just like a slight tweak to something or whatever. Anyway, didn't really matter because South Carolina just absolutely took care of business in this one. They looked fantastic against Auburn. They literally came out the gate swinging. And yeah, there was nothing Auburn could really do. Joyce looked great. She did. She looked great in this one, right? Tessa was great. You know, you just look at everybody on South Carolina as a whole. Basically, everybody who got on the court scored in yesterday's game, and they just looked like they were the ready team. And the result showed it. 81 South Carolina, 51 Auburn. We'll kind of keep an eye out on specifically what's going on with Agat, and we'll see what happens. All right. Anyway, let's move on and let's talk about the SEC because, y'all, there was a lot that happened last night when it came to the SEC. Like, again, I tell y'all, my favorite conference is the SEC because the SEC is tough. Anybody can get got at any time. If you sleep, you will lose. If you show up to the game not prepared, you will lose. Like, hands down. No questions asked about it. And yesterday, in addition to that South Carolina game, we saw a boatload of other SEC games. And I got to start with Texas as they took down Liv McGill in Florida. Ultimately, that score was 88 Texas, 68 Florida. I mean, it's Texas being Texas. They played against a very talented player in Liv McGill, and once again rendered her largely ineffective in this game. Yeah, that's the defense that Texas has to offer. Okay. And in this one, it was all about Madison Booker. That she just does her thing. Like, she's the mid-range assassin. She can get to the bucket. She can kind of do whatever she wants on the court, right? And she showed up and showed out, and Texas easily gets the win. Again, 88-68. In some other SEC games, we did see a game that I was just like, this should not have happened, but this is what you get. And this is Tennessee. So, Tennessee yesterday got to Mississippi State. and again, I've said it before. Mississippi State is the team that, like, hey, they can get some of these SEC teams if they don't show up to play, right? We already saw Mississippi State take down Kentucky this year, right? Now they just took down Tennessee. We did see them, both Tennessee and Mississippi State, play earlier this season, or early in January, and Tennessee got the dub. And they just didn't show up ready to play. Supposedly they were late to what was it, warm-ups, I believe. And they just didn't play good basketball. And as a result, they lost. They lost. Because that's what happens in the SEC. Even if you are at home, you will lose if you don't show up. So in front of 10,000 plus fans, the Lady Vols, the legacy team that they are, the team that at the time, wasn't they undefeated in SEC play? And now you lost. You didn't lose to South Carolina or LSU or Ole Miss because the Ole Miss game is postponed. You lost to Mississippi State. It's a horrible loss. It's a horrible loss for Tennessee. But again, you don't show up to play and you get got. That's what happens. That is exactly what happens. Carissa Richardson was the star of the game for Mississippi State. She averages around 9 points per game. But yesterday, she was absolutely on one. She ultimately had 21 points in yesterday's game. Was huge. Hey, anybody and everybody can and will get got in the SEC. Just remember that. Remember that. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, in case you did not know. Duh. Anyway, in terms of other games, the rest of the games are more predictable, right? I think the main upset of the night was for sure Tennessee losing to Texas. We did see Alabama beat Georgia. To me, yes, Georgia is higher ranked by 1 than Alabama. To me, that wasn't an upset at all. It was just, I mean, technically it was upset, but not really. I'm not surprised. Anyway, that was 68-53. We ended up seeing Oklahoma take care of business against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is just one of those SEC teams that won't get you. Mississippi State can get you. Texas A&M likely ain't getting nobody. Anyway, that score was 85 Oklahoma, 58 Texas A&M. And then we also saw LSU taking care of business in the Play 4K game against Arkansas. They ended up winning 92-70. The big highlight or non-highlight of the game. Well, I don't know if it was the biggest one, but it's the one that I was just that's hilarious in a bad way. Malaysia, LSU had a still fast break opportunity for Malaysia Fulwale. She jagged a layup. And it was just what in the world? I just thought that was kind of funny. Because it was like a normal fast break layup that you expect everybody to make 10 out of 10 times, and then she missed it, and it's just overall she played well in that game. I just those types. It's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny. I mean, because if you've played basketball for any length of time, you know how embarrassing it is to be that one who's done that. I feel like I've done that in a game one time. It's just take your eye off the basketball, and then it is what it is. We did see Michaela and Flage do their thing. 17 points for both of them, and LSU get the dub. Missed layup and all. All right, so that's your look at the SEC. Just wanted to quickly go through that. Uh-oh. No. Why do I always do that? And also, that was really fast. Have to slow that thing down. Slow that thing down. El Kune says Malaysia had to be in. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, of course. And it's just always kind of funny because, like, if you played basketball on a team, at some point you've probably done something like that in a game. At some point, at some level, whether that was grade school, high school, whatever. And so it's just always a little funny. It's just like, I feel you. I feel you. But also, pay attention to your layups. Like, actually, like, really, don't get too fancy with it or whatever. Like, let's just go, play your normal game, that type of thing. But yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. All right, let's continue on. And before I go to the Big Ten, I first want to give a shout out to our sponsor for the day. It is Shopify. Y'all have heard me talk about Shopify before because I am a user of Shopify. I have been, I don't know, over a year now, well before they became a sponsor of this channel. This is the new year. We're still technically in January, though January is basically over. We're still in the new year. Now it's the time to really consider making a fresh start. Maybe a business is something that you want to do, or maybe you already have a business and the software that you're using to manage your store is very clunky and you need to figure out another solution. Well, Shopify could be the solution for you because millions of entrepreneurs are on the platform and are able to make their dreams come true. You can grow as much as you want with Shopify because the best thing about Shopify is it grows with you. There are multi-million dollar businesses that run on Shopify, and then there are small businesses like mine who's like barely makes anything that run on Shopify. So it's for everybody. It is absolutely for everybody. And so whatever your stage in business is, maybe Shopify is the solution for you. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. That is shopify.com/allcity. And you can hear your first ka-ching, ka-ching this new year with Shopify by your side. All right, moving on to the Big Ten, who had a pretty cool night. I gotta say, USC, stand up. Y'all, the USC, University of Southern Cal, they're really good yesterday. As they took down the higher ranked, some would say shouldn't have been so highly ranked, Iowa. Now, this is a team for Iowa who was on a fantastic winning streak. They won like 8 games in a row. They were looking really, really good. And yesterday they got. We did see Addie Deal end up getting the starting nod yesterday. Remember, guys, that season-ending injury for Iowa, and so that's something they're gonna have to deal with for the rest of the season. They did play against USC, who I don't know. USC is sort of like up and down, like But yesterday, Dunn and Smith really just and Davidson. And Jazzy, they both really did their thing yesterday. 21 points for Jazzy. Dunn had 25, 12 rebounds. And they just look good overall. They look really, really good. This is a USC team that was knocking down some threes, which came up clutch ultimately in the end. And Iowa just couldn't hang in terms of shot for shot. And ultimately, they end up losing in this one. we'll see what happens to the rankings as USC guys was not even ranked. And they took down Iowa. So Iowa's going to fall like a rock. And maybe USC will get back in the top 25. Maybe. Just maybe. But again, similar to the SEC, if you're not totally ready, the opponent will exploit that and they will get the dub. In other Big Ten news, we did see USC, or we did see, I already talked about USC. We did see Michigan take down Indiana, 95-67. Olivia Olson had her season high in yesterday's game with 27 points for Michigan. We saw Ohio State take down Wisconsin, 81-58. Michigan State took down Purdue, 86-65. All right, so those were some of the Big Ten games that happened yesterday. Again, anybody and everybody can get got. Okay. So Unknown says, I was happy for USC because they were having a rocky season. They were having a very rocky season. Very, very rocky season. Molly says Southern Cal should be winning these games. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. This is a team that has lost 9 games so far this year. Like way more losses than they expected, right? They've had a tough go when it's come to women's college basketball this season, right? And then it continued in conference play. You start off the season, playing some pretty good opponents, right? Play UCLA and Minnesota, who can, Minnesota is not a bad team at all. They got a chance of making the they got a chance of doing something in the Big Ten tournament and like impressing their way to the NCAA tournament. They played Maryland, right? They played Michigan State. They played Michigan. Like they've played quite a few ranked foes in the Big Ten already, and have been on the not so good end of the stick. But it was really good to see them have the game they did against Iowa, because they have been struggling. They've been struggling a whole lot. And the next couple of games they have is very, very winnable. Like, I think they're probably going to wind up going on a 5-game, maybe 6-game winning streak for USC, Southern Cal, because they're playing Rutgers, Northwestern, right? Illinois, which, hey, Illinois is a good team as well. We'll see. Maybe the Illinois game is a 50-50, but I think they'll beat Indiana. Then they got Wisconsin, and so like I think this team is going to go on a couple of game winning streak before they end up losing to Ohio State. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. I mean, we'll see, but I don't think so right now. All right, now let's move on to the ACC. And LL Kune asked a really good question. I wonder if Hannah will stay at Notre Dame. Yes. My thought is yes. That's personally, that's my thought. But before we actually talk about Notre Dame and what they did, let's actually talk about Duke, because again, I keep pointing to Duke as a team that I'm just like happy for. Because again, had a rough start to the season. Didn't look good at all. Looked actually terrible. Their offense was anemic. They did a horrible job passing the basketball and actually getting good looks for players and whatnot. And people were like, Toby Fournier needs to transfer. Kara Lawson doesn't know what she's doing, and yada, 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 yada. Fast forward a couple months. Duke's looking great. Well, they're looking Duke is looking way better than they did at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't say great, but they're looking way better than they did early in the season. And Toby Fournier had a fantastic game yesterday, 23 points, 11 rebounds, I should say, as Duke takes down Miami. Not the toughest of opponents, but like it's just, again, like Duke is looking good. They're looking pretty good. And maybe challenging schedules in the short term is not great. But in the long term, it makes some stuff happen. And also, they made it way challenging than it really should have been, because remember, they lost to West Virginia. Like, this is a team that like hasn't played up to their potential. But they eventually got it together, and now they're rolling a little bit. Anyway, Duke beat Miami 74-58. All right, now let's talk about Cal versus Notre Dame, because Cal beat Notre Dame. To me, this is an upset because I do believe that Notre Dame is the better team. But Cal won 80-69, and once again, we have the same issue for Notre Dame. It's the Hannah Hidalgo show for the most part. And Ayanna Moore helped out a little bit yesterday with 20 points. Hannah had 22, but like all eyes are on Hannah, and it seems like she feels like she has to do basically the load of the scoring, and that leads to horrible field goal percentages at times, because the weight of the team is on her, and so she got to make some stuff happen. She got to create. She got to do all this stuff, and it's not that much that this team has to offer. They only play 6 players, and they're just not a good team. It just is what it is. They're not a good team considering how they were last year, right? But again, when you have players transfer out of your team, and when you have players not want to go there because supposedly Notre Dame is too hard for some people. Or at least that's what I saw. Like I've seen people make that claim on social media that like yes, and Notre Dame is a very smart school. Very, very smart school. Like you got to be very smart to get in there. Like yeah. If I applied there for when I was going to college, I probably wouldn't have got in. It's for smart people at Notre Dame. But supposedly, like that's the holdup of why some people aren't going there. I don't know how true that is, but like supposedly that's the case. Here's the thing: Notre Dame has been a very good team in the past. They've had really good players in the past, so I don't think it's a total academic thing. I would say that like I hope that Hannah Hidalgo stays at Notre Dame, only because I'm personally not the biggest fan of, okay, you're really good, so leave your bad team and go to one of the powerhouses. Go to one of the powerhouses and make some stuff happen and join everybody else. I'm of the mind that like there should be a lot more parity in women's college basketball. So like all the good players should not just leave their teams. They just shouldn't. If she leaves, no problem. But what I'm saying is like I hope she doesn't. And I hope all the really good players on the various teams don't just leave because their team is bad. Because then they'll just go to the really, really good teams, and then it'll be boring because now there's nothing for people to watch with if Hannah leaves Notre Dame is cooked. They just are. And I'm hoping that she doesn't. But if she does, I completely understand if she does. I hope she doesn't. We'll see. We will see what happens. We also saw yesterday NC State take down Boston College 106-84. And then we saw Louisville take down Stanford 84-66. All right. Real quick, let's do the Big 12. And then I have to hop off Got to get to work super early today. All right, and the news of the day is, here's the thing, full transparency. I didn't get a chance to watch this Kansas versus TCU game, but from what I saw on social media, there was a whole bunch of controversy regarding the referees at the end of the game. I don't know specifics. All I know is people were alleging that the refs were trying to get Kansas to win, and with like the additional time added and all this other stuff. But again, full transparency, I didn't have a chance to watch the game, so my apologies on that. I can't really give real commentary on this one other than to say TCU wins once again at home. This is the best homestand basically in women's college basketball right now for TCU, and they did their thing. They end up winning by 2 points, 79-77. So if any of you all happen to have watched the game, please let us know what the specific controversies were about the ending of the game. And again, my apologies for not being able to actually watch that one. Tisha says, it was a really good game until the end. Why is this thing so fast? It was a really good game until the end. It was crazy how they clearly did try to fix that game. Oh, so you believe so too? Okay. And if I have time, I want to try to watch that tonight to see exactly what happened. But yeah, TCU did win barely though. All right. And then we also saw Colorado take down Kansas State 56-47. All right, so those were the games that were yesterday. Again, I hope at some point the Big Ten picks some days, the SEC picks some days, and we separate this nonsense, because Thursdays are crazy when it comes to women's college basketball. Sundays are crazy when it comes to women's college basketball. It's too much. And then we barely have anything on Monday and Tuesday. Don't really have anything on Friday. And so, like, I'm just saying, can we change it up a little bit? Just a request. Anyway, that's the show. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much for watching. And I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set.